Hi, I'm Carlton Kuhn. I am a pastor, an author, and the minister's friend, I hope at least, with Ministry Monday. And in this video, I'm going to talk with you about 5 different ways to avoid distraction. I do thank you today for joining me and being part of this journey as we learn together. Real quick, because it helps fund what we do with Ministry Monday. Let me mention to you that all of my ebooks are available at Amazon for $2.99 or less, and we've never had them at that price point. Actually, the book Light in a Dark Place is $1.99 just now. And at carltonkuhn.com, there are an abundance of resources that are available. Many of these are at discount. Of course, gift cards and all of that kind of stuff for Christmas is available. And by the way, there's a growing array of free stuff there as well, and you can use any of that any way you want to, teach it, share it with others, whatever. Now, over the next weeks, I'm going to just be talking with you and visiting with you about trying to work smart in ministry as well as working hard. Some people really work hard, but they do things in the most difficult way possible, and that really makes it hard to get it much done. Now, as some of you know, I have been a pastor. I am a pastor, co-pastor now. I've been a religious executive with my church organization, and I've written over 24 books, have preached, traveled about, and so forth and so on. It may well be that in this idea of being effective and productive that you have a question or a topic that you would like for me to address. And if so, just send me a note and I'll see what I can do to at least touch on that. And it may be something that I find myself needing to learn some things about. And if so, we will try to find a source that can help you and me as well. I want to be clear before I start this with you that I'm not a super manager when it comes to time, when it comes to being focused. There are days when I am so desperately unfocused. Perhaps you, like me, have done some reading about attention deficit disorder, attention deficit hyperactive disorder. And as I read that, it seems like that the individual with that particular malady is almost pinballing their way through life mentally. Well, there are days when that is a perfect description of the way I'm trying to get things done. On the other hand, there are days when it seems like that my efforts are more of a bowling ball, and I'm not bouncing around, and I'm kind of straight down the lane, and it may be that I get in the gutter to the right or to the left, but I don't get far off track. Whereas with pinballing, you go ping, 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 and you're never really going any direction for any period of time. That's truly an ineffective way to try to get many things done. So let me just share with you some things that I have learned. And the first is this, and it's going to sound simple and dumb as well, and that is gain wisdom. And the wisdom is this: you need to realize that none of us are effective at multitasking. Anytime that we are attempting to multitask, we are being distracted by one thing or the other, or sometimes several things at the exact same time. The second thing that I would say is this: to avoid distractions, lock in on this one thing for a particular point in time. When Paul wrote his prison letter to the saints in Philippi, he made that statement, and of course I'm using it out of context. This one thing I do. Someone said it's not this one thing, it's this one thing I do, not these 10 things I dabble in. One of the ways to do that is by eliminating from your workspace and your study space all of those things that go ding and dong and vibrate and the little sound on your computer that says you've had email arrive. What happens with a lot of us, because we respond to those things, is that our work time becomes waste time because we check on whatever it was that caused the noise. Well, guess what? Those things will be there later. And in many instances, I'm not sure that I need the latest recipe for making lasagna with tofu. So just make sure that you push those things out of the way. A third way to avoid distraction is to block out sections of time for a particular type of work. I'm here with you by video just now, and the way this works the best for me is for me to have put together what I'm going to try to share with you, and then to record several videos at the same time, because I'm thinking in a particular course. My brain is working in a particular way, and so I can use that time, and I can do the same thing with my preparation for a midweek service and my preparation for a weekend service, where that I am, maybe I find myself, I've done the scripture study. I've got the text clear in mind for what I want to share for a midweek. And then I go and can do the same for what I'm anticipating preaching for the weekend. It is a blocking out of time, and it avoids me having to come back and kind of restart the entire thought process. The fourth thing that I would share with you is this: establish a workplace that is far from the maddening crowd. Do you know that interruptions don't just take the time of the interruption, but research says it takes 15 minutes for you to get back on point with your work after you have completed the phone call or after the person who has knocked on the door has left. So try to be where that you have fewer and fewer of those kinds of interruptions. Fifth way that you can avoid distractions is by prioritizing the things that have to get done. The days that I prioritize what I want to get done instead of being driven by the tyranny of what is urgent or what is the whim of mine, those are the days when I get 3 times as much accomplished as I accomplish when it just kind of flows and whatever comes. What's important to you? If it's important enough to you, you won't allow anything else to distract you. By the way, if you would be interested, there's more on this topic and topics similar to it at our YouTube channel. And if you'd subscribe to it, which is going to be our go-to source now rather than Facebook Live for a number of reasons, you'll always be updated when we send you, when another Ministry Monday or any of our other projects are going on. Back on January the 15th, you may want to look this one up, January the 15th of 2018, I did a session on how to stay fresh in the pulpit. And it has some of the same sort of focus premise that we're talking about here. If you're going to stay fresh in the pulpit, you have to stop being distracted by things that don't really matter. And then I'll mention one other YouTube, and that is on December the 4th, 2017. I did a Ministry Monday about preaching at Christmas. I just did a blog post, I think, about that, something similar. But if you'd like to go and look at that, realize that we're right at Christmas, but you've got a service or two yet to preach, and sometimes this can be a challenging era. Goodbye. Thanks for being part of this day, and I look forward to seeing you next Monday with another Ministry Monday. God bless, and have a fantastic week with God. Let's have revival in the land. Can I get a witness?